The second 6 are proactive, and they are targeted at unleashing the private sector. One of the critical elements is to slash the corporate tax rate. Right now, the United States has the highest corporate tax rate of any developed country in the world. It's 35%, and as a result, U.S. corporations have over $2 trillion in capital overseas that they're not bringing back because it'd be subject to double taxation. My proposal is to slash that from 35% down to 15%, which would result in a flood of capital coming back, producing new jobs. When we have 25 million people out of work, it makes no sense at all to have a tax policy that punishes companies for investing capital and creating new jobs. Similarly, another element of the proactive plan is fundamental tax reform. Simplify the tax code, move as close as possible. I'd like to put every tax lawyer and every accountant out of business. I'd like to move us as close as possible to a flat tax, or even better, a consumption tax, a fair tax. We need to have a low uniform rate that everyone pays, not a code that is riddled with exceptions. You know, the IRS code has more words in it than the Bible. And what that does is that empowers lobbyists and it empowers politicians to give special giveaways to their favorite friends. There needs to be a low uniform rate that applies for everyone, that is simple, that is fair, and that has an incredible impact on chaining the economy.
Going back to Texas now, you've got a pretty good fight ahead of you with Dewhurst as your opponent, and it should be an interesting debate. Do you have plans to actually meet for debates with the lieutenant governor?
You know, Ed, it's a great question. I hope so. In the 2 months since David Dewhurst has entered this race, he has skipped a total of 11 candidate forums. He simply refuses to show up. All over the state, they've been Tea Party forums, they've been Republican women forums, they've been county party forums, and he just doesn't show up. The moderator always says, "We invited David Dewhurst." He refused to attend, and the entire room boos. I'll tell you, in my perspective, I would be happy to debate David Dewhurst every week between now and the election. The question is he going to be willing to show up? His strategy so far seems to be to try to hide in a back room, write a big check, and try to buy this race. And mark my words, no candidate is going to be able to buy this race. I'll tell you, Ed, we launched a website that is duckingdewhurst.com. And we put out a light, tongue-in-cheek cartoon that pointed out that Texans are more likely to see Bigfoot or a chupacabra, which is a mythical coyote-like animal,
right,
than they are to see David Dewhurst, their own lieutenant governor, at a candidate forum. And the reason is he is scared to stand in front of grassroots voters and defend his record. His record has been a tax and spend record. He has proposed an income tax for the state of Texas. He has castigated business in Texas. He has said business needs to pay more of its fair share in taxes. You know, I happen to disagree with Lieutenant Governor Dewhurst. I don't think businesses are undertaxed in Texas. I think the reason we've seen an explosion of jobs in Texas is because of low taxes and low regulations, and I think it'd be crazy to adopt the high tax policies of other states that have destroyed jobs and caused their citizens to flee to the state of Texas. He doesn't want to answer hard questions about how previously he supported in-state tuition for illegal aliens. He doesn't want to answer hard questions about how he killed the bill in the Texas Senate that would have prohibited sanctuary cities. He doesn't want to answer hard questions about how he killed the bill that would have prevented TSA from groping us at the airport. That's his record he wants to run away from, and it's why he doesn't want to stand in front of the voters. I don't know if there'll be debates, but I hope there are, and regardless, we're going to be out every day, meeting with the voters, listening to the grassroots activists, asking for their support. And the only way we can win this race is if we continue to unite conservatives across Texas and nationally. It's what we're doing 18 hours a day. And if it continues to happen, we're going to win this race.
Ted Cruz, thank you very much for sitting down with me today.
It's great to be with you, and I would encourage everyone to come to tedcruz.org, join our team, and encourage your friends to do the same. Thank you.